I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. So I know.
Hey, what's up everybody? And welcome back to the channel. You just saw that little clip. Unbelievable, right? We're going to watch the whole thing in a minute, but I had to start with that because it perfectly captures the absolute disconnect between some of these Democrats and reality. Specifically, Ilhan Omar. I mean, honestly, for her to sit there on her high horse and question anyone about business ethics, about pay, about how the real world works, it's laughable. This is a woman who has a whole parade of skeletons in her closet. We're talking about serious allegations of immigration fraud by marrying her own brother, documented campaign finance violations, and a long, long history of making statements that are deeply troubling and frankly anti-American. And she has the nerve to grill an actual business owner about basic common-sense employment practices. It's hypocrisy at its finest. This is a person who, in my opinion, has shown nothing but contempt for the very country that took her in and gave her every opportunity. She enjoys the freedoms and prosperity of America while seemingly working to undermine its values from within. Frankly, I believe she's proven time and time again that she has no allegiance to the United States Constitution or its people. When you combine the alleged immigration fraud with her rhetoric, a solid case can be made that she has violated the terms of her citizenship. She shouldn't just be out of Congress. She needs to be deported. She is the exact opposite of what an immigrant success story looks like. We're going to get into the weeds of this video, but before we do, if you believe in American values, free enterprise, and common sense, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of our breakdowns of this political theater. Alright, let's roll the full clip. This is a masterclass in how a smart, experienced woman handles a clueless ideologue.
Thank you, Chair. Representative O'Neill, I'm just wondering, as a union member for a long time, and I've also gotten an opportunity to work in the private sector, and I'm curious to know if you know of any employer that has a provision where they decrease pay for employees. I find that a little strange, and so I just wanted to know where that thought comes from, and if you know where an employee gets their pay decreased.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I was a business owner. I recently sold my share, so I don't own it anymore, but there are plenty of businesses out there, especially those that depend on employees' productivity, like I was in the trades. So I owned a company that was a tile setting company, and if we didn't get out there and do the work, and if I didn't have highly productive employees, they were paid based on their productivity. So if they had issues, it is very possible that their pay would reflect those issues. If they were on probation for something, for some sort of violation, that could be coordinated with a pay reduction. It's something that businesses do all the time, and it could be the step before someone is actually fired. So it's an important thing, and it gets people's attention, when they see it in their paycheck that their performance does not meet the standard.
Representative Omar.
Hudson, I think did you have something?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Hudson? Was there a question for Mr. Hudson?
No, I think he was saying that he wanted to add something, so I didn't know if he had something to add.
Mr. Hudson, is there a response to the question? Do you have a response to that question?
Madam Chair, yes, ma'am.
Saying that you aren't aware of any businesses that decrease pay? Because that was the question.
Madam Chair, I think what Chair O'Neill perhaps could be referring to, there are some instances where the pay structure is different. So for an example, she'd indicated that she had come out of the towel industry. I'm not sure if these were commissioned employees who may have been on like an 80-20 split. In that instance, there is a situation where a pay might be reduced. Or if we have a supervisor who perhaps had a performance improvement issue or a behavioral concern, and we demoted this supervisor, that is an instance where pay might be decreased. But just an employee who has not been under some sort of performance improvement program, having their pay reduced, I've never heard of that.
Well, Mr. Hudson, I think Representative Neal knows exactly what she says. And I think we've had a little conversation back here when the question was asked. I know Representative Uglum, do you want to speak to that point?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Omar, if you happen to be a salesman in this world, and you can be selling cars, you could be selling siding, you could be selling just about anything, and you are paid on commission. So if you don't sell anything, you don't make anything. So you can have good years, you can have bad years. Probably really one of the best examples is a real estate agent. So it's the idea that people can make less money year to year, not to mention all the bonus situations that are out there in industry. It happens. It happens a lot. It doesn't necessarily happen, here in the public sector, but it's pervasive and very, very common in the private sector. Thank you.
And I'd like to add that in the private sector as well, people, if they are not performing at their job, get demoted, and with that demotion comes a pay cut. And that's not even related to being in a commission position, that's just in a regular position as well. Representative Omar.
I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. So I know.
Wow, let's break this down because there is so much to talk about here. First, you have Ilhan Omar, and she leads with this question that is so loaded with ignorance it's almost painful. She says, "I'm just curious to know if you know of any employer that has a provision where they decrease pay for employees?" She says she finds it strange. Strange? Is she serious? Has she ever stepped foot in the real world outside of professional activism and government paychecks? This question shows you everything you need to know about her worldview. She lives in a fantasy land where everyone gets a participation trophy and a guaranteed salary for life, regardless of their effort, their skill, or the value they bring. In her world, you can only go up, never down. That's not reality. That's not how you build a successful business or a strong economy. And then in comes our protagonist, Representative Barb O'Neill. You can tell right away that this is a woman who gets it. She's not someone who just reads talking points. She was a business owner. She lived it. She had to make payroll. She calmly and professionally explains a concept that a fifth grader could understand: accountability. She says, yeah, in my company, if you weren't productive, if you violated the rules, if you were on probation, your pay could absolutely be affected. It's called cause and effect. It's called performance-based pay. This is the engine of the American economy. It's the idea that your hard work and results are rewarded. And if you slack off or do a bad job, there are consequences. This isn't a punishment, it's an incentive to do better. Representative O'Neill explains it perfectly. It gets people's attention. Then you see the other representatives trying to chime in, trying to explain Economics 101 to Omar in even simpler terms. Mr. Hudson brings up demotions. If a manager does a terrible job, they stop being a manager and go back to a regular position. Does she think they should keep their manager-level salary? Of course not. That's absurd. And Representative Uglum brings up the most obvious example in the world: sales. Real estate agents, car salesmen. Millions of Americans work on commission. You have a good month, you make great money. You have a bad month, you make less. It's the ultimate meritocracy. You eat what you kill. This entire exchange is a battle between two Americas. You have Barb O'Neill and the others representing the America of hard work, risk, reward, and personal responsibility. The America that built this country. And on the other side, you have Ilhan Omar, representing a world of handouts, guaranteed outcomes, and a complete detachment from the struggles and realities that everyday business owners and workers face. She looks at the system that creates prosperity and calls it strange. It's not strange, Representative Omar. It's called capitalism. It's the reason you even had a country to come to in the first place. This is why we need more people like Barb O'Neill in Congress and fewer people like Ilhan Omar. We need people who have actually built something, who have taken risks, who understand that a paycheck is earned, not just given. What do you all think? Am I right about this, or am I missing something? Is her question as out of touch as it sounds to me, or is there some other way to see it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.